Bring a Trailer podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bring a Trailer podcast. This is Alex. I'm a staffer here at the website. I'm joined by Zach, our director of auction strategy. Zach, how are you?
Hey, Alex. Nice to be with you.
Glad to be here. And Randy Nonnenberg, our fearless co-founder and our leader. How are you, Randy?
Hey, I'm stoked to be here. I love the BAT podcast. We got stuff to talk about.
We do have things to talk about. San Francisco, upstairs at BAT headquarters. We're all back together for the first time after the holidays. Hope you guys had a delightful holiday season. Do anything interesting, maybe in particular car related?
What'd you do, Zach?
I actually had a lovely drive all the way down Skyline to Santa Cruz, straight from the top here down Woodside, past Alice's. For those outside of Northern California, that's kind of like our canyon road run here in Northern California. Beautiful drive. And for the very first time in my life, every single car I pulled up behind immediately pulled to the right.
Oh, man.
You must have been driving something with bright lights, or was it yellow, or what was it? Why'd they get out of the way?
Yeah, my Ram TRX with the train horn just honking people out of the way. I don't know what it was. It was like all of the pent-up karma from all of the back roads I've been stuck behind a Toyota Highlander just repaid itself on that single drive, and I had nothing but clear road the entire time. So...
And are you going to tell us what you were driving? You're sometimes kind of secretive, and I'm okay with that. But that's like your personal brand is like you're going to show up in a secret car that we don't know about. So you can do that to the whole audience, or you can break it down.
Fair. Not trying to make it my brand. There's just no way to not sound kind of obnoxious. Pretty much.
It was a sports car with a manual transmission.
Yeah.
It was a sports car with a manual transmission.
It's an older 911 at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. We know what that is, but we'll give you that one.
So did you use up all your karma then? Does that mean you never get another car to pull over
Well, that's what
onto a siding ever
my
again?
OCD brain kept freaking out about it because it was like kind of wet, and I was actually just taking a more mellow pace, and I was like, oh no, it's all going to be spent on this one day.
This is how it all goes down. This is how the spin happens where your car ends up in the ditch.
Skyline in the wet is gutsy. That can be a little scary.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was a nice drive, but hopefully I haven't spent all of my people pulling over karma.
Oh, God, I got my fingers crossed for you, buddy.
How about you and the fam? You guys?
As I told you, we went to Colorado, which was really fun. And on Randall's recommendation, we were in Colorado, Boulder. And on Randall's recommendation, went to the Shelby American Collection, which I thought, what kind of a Shelby collection could there be in Boulder, Colorado?
No, man, this is it.
Holy crap. I mean, this has to be the best one, right? Out there. I can't imagine about 10 GT40s and about 15 Cobras, including a Cobra Coupe, including a in-period homemade Daytona Coupe that I didn't even know about. Do you know about that car, Randy?
Peter Brock involved or non-Peter Brock?
Peter Brock involved, but unofficially. So they had a real Daytona Coupe, one of 6. I wish I could remember the name.
So stuff's on loan there, first of all, right? It's not like some dude in Boulder owns all this stuff. It's a
Miller family name on a lot of the cars.
Miller family helps, right? And
but there were other cars from other people.
They're from the other side of the Rockies in Utah, or some of them are at least. But then there's stuff that I see in there, and they'll put a plaque in front of it, like on loan from XYZ. But they get like the premier stuff, like they get the Le Mans winning GT40s.
Dude, the 66 1, 2, 3 finish, the famous picture, 2 and 3 were there sitting next to each other. The second and third place finisher.
I'm so glad you went. And I was just debating the merits of social media with Zach and how that's a love-hate. But like I learned about that place from some social post that somebody did, and I was like, wait, why is this in Colorado?
I still can't figure that out.
And I still haven't gotten there. I've been to Boulder a couple times in my life, and I didn't know about it when I was there. Little tiny,
like back of an office part, like one of those cul-de-sacs where there's like the little, like there's like a cleaning business and like, like a way in the back of a little industrial park cul-de-sac. And
how was the Thai food on the way out?
Exactly. It's that exact thing, like conveyor belt sushi in the like strip mall on the way. And they're all in one room. They're like 3 inches apart from each other, all these cars. And there's GT40 transaxles and like Cobra hard tops hanging on the walls. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's high density inside the building, right? It's like they're filled up their square foot.
That are supposed to keep you away from the cars are hanging over the hoods of the cars is how tightly they're packed in. Went with my 10-year-old daughter who snooze fest for her immediately, but at least she went. The rest of my family was burned out. I'd already dragged them to an airplane museum, other things. It's the last day of our trip. It's only open on Saturdays. So if you go, it's only open 1 day a week.
But you would tell people to go.
Oh, the docents were like, okay, so they also had 2 J-Car GT40s, the the monocoque things, the thing that Ken Miles was killed in, the car that won in 67, the slab-sided GT40s.
Okay, Mark IV.
Mark IV. Yes, they had 2 of them.
What colors?
Yellow and like a brownish red.
Love brownish.
So
red.
I asked one of the docents, and immediately they're like, "Oh yeah, there's 9, but there's really 8."
Totally.
And Ken Miles, and like they knew everything, right?
Who were those people working there?
All volunteers and some young people, and they fired. We were there right at the end of the day. They had the first Comp Cobra. They had CSX 2000. The first Cobra is there.
That was sold recently. That's the one that was painted 5 different colors.
Yes, and it's still the blue color from when I saw it on the cover of Road and Track.
I forget if it was Mecum or if a big auction somewhere. Anyway, that car was sold.
Well, there it is.
But it's not Bruce Meyer's #1 black car, which is cool.
This is CSX. This is the one, that you said was repainted a bunch of times to make it seem like Carroll had more than one Cobra.
So great. I love it.
So they had the first first competition Cobra, which was raced at Dodger Stadium by Ken Miles. I mean, so sick. They also had the Cobra that was the last car to be actively competing in SCCA, like not a historic car. So I think they said 83 or 84, this car was still racing the SCCA, and they fired it up at the end of the day. Quad Webers, I think it had a hardtop on it. It was white. And my daughter, that's when she came back to life. She was like, "That's amazing, Dad." I'm like, "Yeah, that's race cars, man."
I gotta know, are all of the docents just rolling up in that strip mall parking lot in like Factory 5 Cobras or like 07 GT500 Mustang?
No, it's winter in Colorado. They're rolling up in Durangos.
That's correct. Everybody's in a pickup truck splattered with mud.
Totally.
But there was a 68
little Shelby Dakota in the lot.
Totally.
There was a 68 Camaro out there. So I don't know if that was somebody visiting or a docent. Anyway, amazing museum. Highly recommend. Thank you, Randy, for the recommendation.
I'm living vicariously through you and your story. I've never been there, and I would love to go there. So hey, if any of our audience is out in Colorado and wants to go, we ought to get it together.
What about you, Randy? Any car stuff over the holidays?
Driving an 81 Toyota pickup sport truck in the snow in Idaho. It's pretty much my fantasy. I know you guys are, jamming, high HP sports cars. I think I had about 80 horses and little four-wheel low. I never got into low, but I did.
Thanks for letting
4.
everyone know why I'm insecure to share what I'm driving every weekend.
I love it.
High HP, Zach.
Totally. You guys are amazing. But that thing was just trundling around in mountain towns, and like you go into any store and people all try to guess the year of it, which is awesome. There's some enthusiasm for that sort of stuff. My classic car buddies who I talk to there and elsewhere can sometimes get the truck thing, and they can sometimes not get the truck thing at all. Obviously BAT gets the truck thing. There's so many trucks on BAT that gets, crazy bids. But sometimes people are like, "So why are you driving like that thing?" Or is that did you rent that to like haul a trailer or
they're confused.
A load of manure? Like, what are you doing?
Your neighbors are coming up to you asking, "Is everything okay?"
Totally. Like, but anyway, I love it. That's kind of one of my ideal vehicles for up in the mountains. And that thing was here at BAT HQ for a while downstairs.
Kids ride in that with you?
And kids ride in it. And it's just awesome hauling stuff around in the mountains. So that's what I did. I like snow driving, and trucks are one way to do that. Some cool rally cars are ways to do that, which I've done up there before, but this was a truck season. So anyway, it was fun.
Awesome. That's great. Thought we could kick off, guys, if you want, with talking about what's on the site. Sometimes people think the winter is a sleepy season, but there's a lot of exciting stuff on Bring a Trailer right now. Anything in particular that either of you are excited about? I have a letter and 4 numbers for you, Randy, if you need prompting.
A letter and 4 numbers?
Z432.
That's 3 numbers. But you threw me. But I'm stoked for the Nissan Z432. That is an unusual one. I think it's our first one, actually. We've had a couple submitted, and my ears perk up. I love 240Zs, as you guys know, and we had the BAT 240Z, which was car number 100,000 earlier last year, almost a year ago now, that we sold. So it got some seat time in 240s. And obviously, Z432 is a super special edition of that, right-hand drive only, twin cam engine, super special stuff. And to get one of those on BAT now, I heard today, I didn't look, but I heard biddings at $250,000 or something.
Correct.
It's really crazy. Yeah. And not a total surprise, but we've had a few, like, people come through that were opportunists, I felt like. And so unfortunately, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of cars get submitted and they never make it to the website, either because, for a litany of reasons, one of which is people have crazy price aspirations. And we've gotten a couple 432s that have come through where it was sort of dubious, or the communications were dubious, or the price was just bananas, and we were like, sorry, that's not going to fly. So I'm super psyched that we came to terms with this one, and it's a good seller, and it looks like it's a cool car. And I don't know if you looked at the history of it, but it's
fantastic, great color for those 14-inch mags.
No, but that's the spec of the car. But the guy selling it, I mean, I don't know if you guys look deeper on that, but yeah, if you look who's repping the car and who it belongs to, and I mean,
it's Rafi, isn't it? Is the seller?
Well, Rafi's repping it, and it's I mean, it's by the guys that totally know JDM cars and are affiliated with the book Quiet Greatness that we have here in the office.
Yeah, great book.
We talked about and was released and is an amazing book that you ought to go get if you haven't and you're into Japanese cars. This car is featured prominently in the pages of the book. So anyway, it's like the right 432 for BAT, I feel like. And there's a lot of cool people commenting on it, and the photos are great. And that's not because it's probably the most pristine one in the world. That's just because it's a legitimate one, and it's got good history and docs. And
they drive it around.
Zach's looking at it on his.
They drive it around in the videos. It's great to watch. I was watching all the videos last night.
And I don't know. I've never driven one of those. I've seen 2 of them in person in my life, and obviously have driven the L series engine that we had, which was super hot rodded. And what that 2-liter twin cam is like, and do you have to keep it up on the cams, or can you like drive it and lug it around town or not? I have no idea, but
I'd love to find out.
And I actually presume that it's very different from a grunty modified L engine, which is what we had in the VATC.
I'm curious about the gearbox too, because it's a factory 5-speed, whereas those would have all been 4 speeds.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a super killer car. Good call picking that one. That's probably my favorite car on the site.
Yeah, I thought I was trying to get you all amped up. It looks like it worked. Also in the US, which I presume not many of them are.
What did it say for production on that? 300 or something?
It's 300 or 400, I think. Maybe 400.
We'll pull that up. We'll pull open that
pull up
reference book and figure out how.
Maybe Zach can talk about a high HP car while I'm looking at how easy 432
Well, I'm trying not to pigeonhole myself as late model high horsepower car, so I'll start with the ex John Madden 560 SEL.
People texted me about this car.
Oh, now you're egging Randy on too. I love it, Zach.
I don't know why I love like thoughtful celebrity ownership, like the Chris Farley Viper I talked about, when the owner's personality matches the car. John Madden rolling this 560 SEL around, I totally see it. And he bought it new and kept it till 2021. Basically had that right up to the end of his life.
Amazing.
And like, now I'm just dropping too much John Madden knowledge, but he was terrified of flying.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he put almost 100,000 miles in this car, presumably driving from game to game to go announce, just late nights, cruising the 560 SEL around.
Central California story was he'd always stop at Jocko's in Napomo, which is like the OG Santa Maria barbecue place. And so if he was up and down the 101 all the time, maybe the SEL was there. Oh, have you never been to Jocko's?
No.
Oh, it's like, you know how much I love like Santa Maria style tri-tip barbecue. It's like it's the OG place for that.
I drive past Napomo. I mean, I don't often pull off in Napomo.
No,
so
not a lot to do there other than Jocko's.
Okay, noted for next time.
You and Madden.
I'm beeline from there to the Shelby Museum in Colorado and back round trip.
Not much of a.
That's gonna be our version of the coast to coast run.
Totally, that's
Jocko's to Shelby American.
That's right. It's like Brescia, Rome, Brescia.
But the Madden car, I also was stoked on the Madden car. It had some dreadful headlight conversion, which was upsetting, but easily solved. But the comments on that one were good. Some video gamers actually sent it to me, like buddies that are into like Madden NFL, like because they get that reference to Madden. I'm a million years old, so I remember like Madden as like a color commentary guy on CBS Sports on football games, which was amazing, and really liked some of that. But yeah, he'd
be fun on a podcast.
Oh, dude, he would have been a good time. Boom, right?
Yeah,
He'd say all that sort of stuff. But he drove in like a rock band sort of tour bus around. So I don't think he put all his miles in a black 560 SEC driving around the games.
There'd probably be 1 million miles instead of 100,000.
He's famous for his bus, but he did 0 flight. Like he was like in the contract, like won't fly to the Super Bowl or whatever else. I'm driving. So he was like all over the place in his tour bus. And then maybe the Benz was hung off the back of that thing.
Little sunshine plate action on there, Randy.
Was it?
That's a Randy specialty.
Oh, I love that. I'm a 126 guy too. I love 126s. So anyway, that one, crossed my mind. What did it sell for? Do we know what it sold for?
23.5.
He got 23.5 for that thing. And it had pretty big miles on it too.
We want to myth bust celebrity ownership now, or should we save that for later?
I think celebrity ownership is legit. I mean, people like roll their eyes or like, oh, it's not worth more. Like if I can tell the Madden story, like listen to this conversation. Like that one versus the same exact car with the dreadful headlights next to it that belonged to nobody. I'm buying the Madden car all day.
100%. Also, I don't know if you guys knew this, but the sale included Oakland Raiders branded socks.
Sold.
That's 10% premium right there.
That actually drops it because I got to pay for some gas to drive to Goodwill. I got to drive to Goodwill and get rid of those.
I'm just picturing the next owner, like Raiders Nation, putting the giant Raiders sign on the back window of the.
Oh gosh, please no. But anyway, that was a cool listing. Great call. I love that. Love that shout out.
Yeah. Other than that, I'll breeze through them, but the LM002 that went through, those cars are always on my radar. I'd love to have one of those.
Randy and I had words about that truck today.
Mm-hmm. Local. It was like miles from here. Somebody said they saw it locally in the Bay Area. I never saw it.
Man, yeah, I had some fantasies about that car. And then we sold a Wyra last month.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually pretty great because those are cars that don't often trade hands publicly.
First Pagani ever on BAT, is that right? Did we ever have a Zonda? Or I think that's our first ever. I
believe so. Yeah. So big moment for us.
High HP, big HP.
So much HP. That's how excited Zach is.
Slip one in there next to the H22A powered Honda Accord that I also wanted.
Randy, you want to talk Oscar Mayer Wienermobile pedal cars?
No, that's live now. And I was scrolling the side. I was like, whoa, it's like Whiplash. I was like, whoa, what on earth is that? First, I thought it was a real one, but then it was anyway a toy. But we've had some very interesting stuff. I love looking through my watch list. I don't know if you guys saw the Callaway turbocharged Scirocco, Gen 1 Scirocco, sold for $24,000 over the holidays. People are like, oh, don't sell a car over the holidays. Okay, show up and get $24,000 for your first gen Scirocco. Anyway, white with ATS cups on it and like a dash plaque. And like, I guess they did some run of Scirocco's. My favorite thing is to read BAT listings that I didn't know were coming through the system. So it kind of punches you in the face. And then B, when there's like a legit education to be had in the comments and what, like, I didn't know about the car. I didn't know how many they made. I didn't know what spec it was. I knew they put Callaway blowers on Golfs and GTIs and stuff like that. But anyway, that is an unusual car that if you're waiting for the next one, that's probably a bad choice because
correct. This was the one.
That one's coming. The next one's coming when? Like 3 years from
That's
now.
not unlike the LM002. It's like, you want one of those, you better snap it up when one pops up.
That's an interesting debate. Which is more rare, LM002 or Callaway Gen 1 Scirocco Supercharged?
Probably the Scirocco.
Yes,
like,
Scirocco
I think there's 3 other LM002s on the market right now, but there's 0 other Scirocco.
420 is the number of Z432s they built. So that means LM02.
Why didn't they build 12 more?
I don't know.
So they built 432 of them.
Huge error, a huge mistake made by Datsun.
Or why don't they just lie about the production today?
Well, don't get me
from the 70s.
Some dude is going to run.
Don't get me started. I don't believe any production number
registry of how many there were. But man, you're right there. 432 seems like a missed op.
Either way, no matter which way you slice it, the Callaway Scirocco is the most rare.
It's totally more rare than a 432. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So anyway, one other one that I was watching, which I really liked, was an alumni truck that was back, 72 Jeep Wagoneer 4x4, which 72 tips you off that it's like pre-wood side paneling. It was orange. It was for sale, and it was around. It was on Instagram years ago in the Bay Area, and we sold it. And then it came back. I was surprised that it came back again. Sold for $57,000. Super cool. Love seeing alumni cars that come back to BAT. And found another. And it had a somewhat high reserve because I could see the reserve on the back end. I was like, man, wow, let's see. And he blitzed it. He blitzed the reserve, went straight past it. So anyway, a lot of heat happening in the back half of December over the holidays on some cool variety.
Couple other celeb cars, the MJ-E31. You want to speak to that one, Zach? The Michael Jordan car, another athlete.
You know I'm pro. I want us to go buy the Dennis Rodman Celine Mustang that we sold.
We should have bought that.
And the pictures that go along with that one are
We need a Michael Jordan car, and then somebody's got to source us a Scottie Pippen car, and the 3 of us can roll into work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
I love that. I like that car a lot.
Yep.
I like the license plate a lot. I was texting with friends in Illinois. I was like, you guys can maintain this reg on this car.
Yes.
If you keep it. Like,
I know.
Don't let it sell out of the state. and a couple of them were hesitant. I don't know where the winner was, but what was it? 108 grand, 118
108.
grand?
Memory 108,723.
Yeah, that was a cool car.
We also had Ewan McGregor's 72 911, Zach. Another old 911.
Sugar scoops, man.
Yeah,
I know. For me, I thought
still
Ewan would have changed those.
Great result on it, and an interesting car guy too.
Totally interesting. And he drove it. Did you read it up? I mean, he drove it from LA up to
super cool history on that
a dude in Monterey to list it for him, who maybe was a sales buddy or something. And he talked about that in the video, and like there was him in the car being interviewed about it. And anyway, I like that dude.
Me too.
I showed that one to my kids. Right, I was like, "Look, Obi-Wan is selling a Porsche." And they were doing.
It's our third Ewan McGregor car. He sold an old pre-war project, and there was a bike that was his too.
Also, just shout out to Ewan McGregor, 100% sale rate across all.
Yeah, well Zach, done. You like that?
Better than a lot of BAT Power sellers, even 100%. We'll take it.
Auction strategy, Zach. Sell them all.
Sell them. Batting 1,000.
Yeah, totally. Love Ewan for that. No, really cool history on that car. And like you said, when people pop up in comments, the Callaways occasionally pop up on Callaway cars, and some guy who'd owned Ewan McGregor's 911T forever, a guy who I think was either the previous owner or the original owner.
So there was a story of a lot of original paint on that car and some unusual original spec on that car. And the previous guy checked in, or I don't know if you're talking about Randy Carlson, who is out of SoCal, who finds a lot of these cars. He had
possibly that's who it was. There was a lot of storytelling.
Documented that car. I like that guy and following him. He does some YouTube stuff and finds a lot of car archaeology type stuff. But I appreciate him, and he jumped in and was like, "Hey, here's some more resources on that car." I love that guys like that are listening and paying attention and share openly about what's going on with history on these cars, and it gave some interesting takes on what was going on. I don't know how deep you want to go. People were talking about like antenna placement.
There was a lot of thumbs up in that one.
Width on the Fuchs in the rear, which weren't original, and why would they spec that as a sport setup on a Targa? Blah blah blah. I love all that stuff.
Me too.
It was really fun to go deep on that one and read through and interact with some folks. So anyway, glad they got a good result. They deserve it. That was a good car.
100%. I agree with you completely.
Had AC in it though, which I never love in early 911s because California, you wouldn't need it. But if you lived in Florida, I get it, or Texas, but
it never works very well. And you knock your feet on it. The cars weren't designed to fit.
And just popping the lid and that giant compressor for California people are weird like me. And that's like a depressing moment. But some other people, it's like an elation moment because you're not going to roast to death in your black 911, right? So anyway, different strokes, but that car was cool. I hope whoever bought it is stoked.
Zach, can I hit you? This will be the last one, unless you guys want to talk about other things. Can I hit you with a pair of cars? The both currently live NSX Love, which you and I share. The 235,000 mile white car, early fixed roof, and then everyone on staff seems to be getting excited about the orange, very late, low mile fixed headlight car. Interesting pair, interesting duo. I like both of them a lot.
Orange over orange is pretty great when you look at those seats. You ever see a set of seats that just look so nice, you just feel compelled to sit in them?
Totally. And I was thinking about how these are like opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Like how a early NSX can be, you can put 1 million miles on it and it's great. And then these late cars, and it's a super low mileage, kind of a preservation. I don't know if it's preservation, but a collector level car.
13,000 miles on an 05 orange NSX. I think that qualifies. It's premium, and it's
people are excited.
Is bananas already, and people are going to get.
It's a good compare and contrast of here's what a minty fresh one looks like, even though it's an NA2, and here's how one wears. But it's almost like 235,000 miles is like not high enough.
I know.
There's guys on NSX Prime with. I think there's one guy with over 500,000 miles.
Yes.
Guy with over 300,000.
I think that's the claim to fame. I love that on Ford GT. I love that on NSX. I love it.
I completely agree. A lot of interesting, exciting conversation in that white high mileage car too. A lot of people be like, "Oh, mine has 300, mine has 400."
That's cool.
I love that stuff. I love it. It's and then the orange car. Zach, one of our colleagues, was saying every Japanese blog he follows is talking about that car. There's a lot of apparently internet excitement about the orange car already.
That's cool. I am going to throw a curveball. My favorite NSX lately was neither of those. It's this black one. What's up with that car? Anyway, 91 ended with more modern wheels.
Oh, yeah. And it has like about 100,000 miles on it.
Maybe going to make you guys cringe, but I think those wheels on that body, black, looks incredible.
I totally agree. I almost bought a set for my car, and you have more tire options if you do 17.
And they're not staggered diameter, right, Zach? Aren't they the same size all around?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a cool looking setup. And describe what those are off of.
Those are off of a 2002 to 2005 NSX.
Okay.
So there's OEM, just a later one. We actually sold a set of just those wheels, and those are ones that come through. I'm like, oh man, I would really like these. $5,600 just for the wheels. So
this week
they're not cheap.
They're like yesterday, 2 days ago. So anyway, they're not cheap wheels, but I like that upgrade on those cars. You know, those wheels, I often want people to do your wheels, which are, I don't know what those are called. They're the
16 and 17, seven
okay.
spokes.
Okay. OEM, but a little bit later, but these are jumping even after that. And anyway, I think they're great.
Zach's wheels are my favorite. Those are the ones I'm always tempted by. I just changed my background on my computer. You guys can see it.
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
That's an R, but it's got those.
R
those
had
very
those.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're white on a silver car in some weird place in Japan.
I can't handle that.
Whatever white on white
floats
I can do,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
silver on
I saw, here's a totally
I made terrible
weird,
choices. That's all
not
part
really
of it.
BAT related. Driving up 280 yesterday, snapped a photo of it. Macan on paper plates, brand new Porsche delivered little baby SUV, dark blue paint, white alloy wheels.
Weird.
It looked like it was like a wannabe like 911 Dakar. Like
Oh, man,
I was like, did the factory do that, or did the dealer just go way left field?
I mean,
or
the
did
stuff you can do
owner
on
it?
Dakars from the factory is kind of crazy. I don't know if you follow.
But did they offer white wheels on a Macan? I was like, wait a second. Sorry. Anyway, I just tanked the interest in that topic, but it was interesting to see.
Wheel
And
topic is always good.
I've seen them on new like 992 Gen 911s. You can option white.
But Zach, all the liveries and the roof stuff and that's all factory equipment on those Dakar 911s, isn't it? Can't you get all that stuff from the
it's an
factory?
option package.
Crazy.
We have a Strato live, or we'll have a Strato live this week.
A what?
A what?
Is that the singular for Stratos?
You guys aren't up on the Strato?
I have no idea
You're
what
not
that
garage
Dorado? Is
shopping?
that like a Bowie knife?
Like,
It's
what
like
is
a
a
Corrado.
Dorado?
It's like a Volkswagen Corrado, but
Was that Vin Diesel's name in the movies? What was his name?
It would be a
Fast and
car.
Furious?
Mi Familia. I don't
what
remember.
was his
I
name?
can't
in Mi
remember his
Familia?
name.
It was Storado. Anyway, what are you talking about?
It would be a good Vin Diesel Fast 11.
It
or
probably
whatever
is
they
in
are
one of
car. It's the Lamborghini Rally.
Oh,
Rally
dude.
spec, yeah.
Wait, what?
You
You're
know
not up
this
on these?
car.
Is it a car or is it a Urus?
No, it's Lambo sports car gone Dakar. You don't know this?
What?
Oh, dude.
Oh man,
You don't.
That's
now we really derailed the
that's
podcast.
ill-conceived.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
Oh man.
It's in the same color as the LM002. You could have them parked side by side.
But is it like a
A bunch of your
Farcon?
podcast bros are driving these
Yeah.
around
my
and
podcast, bro?
and
I don't
giving
even know.
reviews on them.
Oh man, I guess I need to get on YouTube and find out what's going on in the
You
culture.
either do or you don't. Anyway, Zach,
yeah, it's
One's
a
coming through.
Huracan with a lift kit and some bigger tires.
Wow.
but they're actually pretty sweet.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. I'll reserve judgment till I see one. I mean, there is a Ferrari SUV I saw that's like kind of a
no,
car,
the Ferrari
kind of an
SUV,
SUV.
that's an abomination in my opinion. I saw one of those in person and it was uncomfortable. But I'm kind of into the new modern sports cars, a little bit of a lift and big tires.
certainly makes them more usable than whatever sidewall height they're running on the super high.
If you
performance
do a
ones.
lot of inner city driving with just road quality, it kind of makes a lot of sense just to bomb.
I don't mind the Dakars. I think they look cool. One came to our alumni gathering last year, and I got to look at it up close. I thought it was cool.
Mhm. As long as they don't say rough roads down the side, I'm good.
I can't
Also-
get over the cladding either. All the
The
plastic
cladding is tough, and all the stickers are when they start really getting.
I don't mind full
liveried up.
Rothmans, but like put the SIG name on it.
yeah.
Don't put rough roads on it. I'm so bummed on that. I can't handle it. Anyway, what
Zach,
else?
what's your heart out? Yeah, well, Zach's got heart out, and we need to know when it is. We're 30 minutes in here, Zach. I've got some an interesting exercise for the two of you.
I've got
if you have
8
time.
minutes, but
8
I
minutes.
have to go to the tire shop, and all the guys at the tire shop, you can't keep them past 4:30.
No.
You're gonna have
No,
problems.
they'll steal your
Are they
car.
430 hard stop, or you can get 445 out of them?
I just assume half the guys in there have an electronic ankle bracelet, and if they're not in the place they need to be,
Let's hope they don't
by
listen to the
5
BAT
PM,
podcast.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Okay. Moving on.
let's try this as a final topic then. So this was suggested by one of our colleagues. Shout out Roland. BAT myth busting. And we could do this, if people like it, we could do it in a kind of recurring way, but some things that we are commonly asked that we could kind of almost like a out loud FAQ, but from two of the old school BAT heads. So if you don't mind, I'll hit you guys with a couple of these and we'll see what you have to say.
Dude, you frame this like you're a newbie at BAT. How long have you been at BAT?
I'm a staffer, just like the two of you.
Staffer. Of how many years have you been a staffer?
I'm coming up on 8, but Zach is past 8, so he's senior to me.
You're veteran staff.
Well, I'm going to play like I'm a confused person submitting my car who has not even submitted yet. And I will play that role and posit some questions to you guys.
To be fair, you are frequently confused of our submission form.
I am confused in general often. That's just a known thing.
Technology is tough for Alex.
It sure is. It sure is. It's amazing that I'm able to speak through a microphone. Let me just hit you guys with these, and you field them. I'm gonna lob them out there, and you take them. So I hear that if you submit your car and it gets rejected, you can't resubmit it. Is that true?
That's not true at all.
What's the record on submissions of one car?
This is actually painful, and maybe I'm not sure if this is a good or bad place to start, but all the submission account history is preserved in the back of the profile. So guys that just aren't getting it and just keep submitting, you'll see a stack of cheapo Campanolas in Italy that this guy keeps resubmitting that are kind of rusty. So I don't know, record's probably around 10, maybe somewhere in there. And usually those are guys that have a spam filter in their email, so they're just not getting the actual message. But you can certainly resubmit. The order of operations, or the best thing to do, is to reply and ask for some kind of clarity. The secret words in there for cars on the bubble are usually no reserve. If I improved my presentation, took better pics, would you take this at no reserve? That's usually a great way to catch the team.
Which implies that there's a price issue with the reserve, or what? What are they solving by doing that?
Yeah, usually it's price component, but also a willingness to change and improve your presentation. Because guys that come in with Motorola Razr pics, 99 Tahoe with not particularly low mileage, when you're looking at 700 cars that week, usually can fall on the wrong side of the bubble. But they come through with a nice lens and say, "Hey, I'll do it at no reserve," rather than the 30 grand I asked for. All
that's to say, elevating presentation, like, it's definitely worth submitting it again, right? Like, some people submit with 2 photos, or submit and like the title's dodgy, or like all the reasons we reject cars, which are meaningful reasons. If you go solve those, like, submit it again. Absolutely. So that can yield at a car that makes it to the website after it didn't the first try.
Yes. But in terms of the actual mechanics of resubmitting, the best place to start is usually just replying to that email
that listing,
rather than go do all of that and not getting any clarity from the team and improving your presentation and resubmitting at no reserve, and us having to say, "Hey, actually, we didn't take this because it is a salvage title."
Very helpful. Appreciate that, gentlemen. So I have to pay to submit my car, isn't that right?
Dude, you're like assuming like some weird persona. Like, people frame this with people say that that's not the case, dude. Come on.
I'm just trying to have a fun back and forth with you two, but
so
I can tell it's freaking you out.
You're a persona. We get it.
No fee to submit. Though the thing we see most of the time is usually when you're talking about price expectations and guys that are sky high, and it's sort of not working out in that discussion. Most of the time, politely are like, "Oh yeah," and that if you could just refund my fee. Fee is not collected until confirmation and the user actually clicks a button verifying that they're open to listing their car. So.
Free to submit. It's one of my favorite things to say to people.
Not just submit, like free to get it reviewed by us, right? Like our team of humans looks at it and reviews it and gives some feedback and does that sort of thing. So all that is free, and well before you have to slide your card.
I will drop my persona and just hit you with this one straight up.
Thank you.
Randy and I will read.
I really appreciated you.
I'll take on the persona now.
Yeah. I'm confused and I'm a terrible actor. So what about paying more money to get your car into the premium category? That is something we hear comes up a lot.
Oh, yeah. People get on their hands and knees and beg, but premium is curated by us on staff. It's not a pay service.
I think people often get confused between premium and white glove. Those are two different services that we or one's a service that we offer, and the other thing is kind of the status of a live auction. Randy, do you maybe want to clarify between what the difference between those two things are, those two terms?
Yeah. Some people think those are one and the same. Premium is a category on the website. A lot of people, many people actually subscribe to that category if they happen to be shoppers of that sort of a thing. So that's a sort of premier subset of listings that are live. Somewhat, people are like, "Oh, is it just around dollars? Like, is it over 200K or whatever?" And it aligns with that, but it's not specifically by that. We've had a couple of premium cars that haven't been super mega bucks, but it's the
premium motorcycles that are under six figures, right?
Yeah.
But they're the kind of cream of the crop, the things
of
where
that category.
Right.
They're the best.
Right.
So anyway, that category is super interesting. It has grown, and now last I looked had 22 vehicles in it. We started it with our first ever Gullwing listing as a sort of singular vehicle in that category, and it has grown. And obviously, like I say, people follow and track and get alerts to just that category, whether it's alerts on the BAT app or whether it's on the website and people are getting emails. You can track just those cars, so it has a lot of momentum. It's also very prominent on the website. Mm-hmm. So the difference, and then white glove. People ask about white glove. That's more just a service for the sellers of what do you need to present your car on BAT. If you don't want to do it yourself, we'll dispatch a pro photographer to you and we'll walk you through the system. And our team here will be on the phone with you every day. That sort of stuff is not for the general seller that is sort of self-service wise. So anyway, those are two different things. And yeah, as for the myth busting component of it, I saw a email blast from some other auction site, and they were like, "Oh, like click here, and you like pay $250, and we'll feature you on our Instagram as well as the listing." Right? It was a very sort of transactional, like you can opt into that sort of thing, and we haven't done that. We just try to feature and drive as much traffic across the right targets as possible. And that kind of raises all boats on BAT. It's sort of a holistic strategy as opposed to if you'll give us $200 for your Pinto listing, it'll go on the Instagram,
right? Which
could work, and maybe as a short-term revenue win, but it's I don't know, ethos wise, it feels a little bit off. So we've never done that, but people ask for it all the time. So anyway, there's a little bit of tension there and figuring out what the right strategy is going forward, but we're constantly evolving and figuring that out.
Cool cars, great presentation. We'll feature you. Mm-hmm. Great. I think we can call it there so Zach can go get his tires, go get his car, and not get shivved by his the guys who were putting the tires onto his car.
A lot of tire irons around that shop.
Totally. Weaponry. For sure. Well, thank you guys. This was a pleasure. Hope we can do more of these in the near future. We are always interested in what listeners are thinking about the pod. So if there are ideas, suggestions for things you'd like to hear us talk about, please send them our way. The address is, Randy?
Podcast@bringatrailer.com.
Podcast@bringatrailer.com.
It's very difficult to figure out. Yes. Great. Podcast@bringatrailer.com.
Easy peasy. Or you can find Randy at his home or on his... No, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
The address is... No, just kidding.
If you're in the state of Idaho and you see 81 Toyota or a Toyota that you don't know what year it is, ask the owner what
he is not hauling hay and he wants to have a long personal conversation with you. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Look forward to talking to you next time.